Do you feel a powerful feminine energy in you that has yet to be unleashed? Have you ever sensed an inner nurturing, a intuitive spirit, or you just know you have this inner softness that is ready to come out to the world? If you are looking for ways to tap into your inner softness, aka feminine energy, this video is absolutely for you. Today, we are exploring 7 feminine traits that you can tap in, and I'm going to break down each feminine trait in this video. Ladies, let's start with intuition. So this is your inner gut, that inner knowing, and sometimes it comes in a form of a physical sensation. So think about the times that you are trying to make a decision or you're reflecting on something and you get like almost this butterfly feeling, or sometimes it could be knots in your stomach, and that is your intuition letting you know that there is something you need to pay attention to. And a lot of times it comes before the logical mind, which is telling you that this is the logical decision. Sometimes it's just like this inner instinct and you know what to do. Now, intuition is the cornerstone of feminine energy. And it manifests a lot of times in different ways. Sometimes it's with prayer. Sometimes people are able to tap into it with meditation. But I think the key thing here to understand with intuition is that it's something that has to come with time and with trust. And really it's about learning how to trust yourself, how to know that this is my inner gut saying something is beyond what my logical mind understands. And I know for me, an example of this is when I was making a decision to leave my 9-to-5. And weirdly enough, I saw this random message on YouTube from a well-known pastor, and he was just talking about how sometimes the seeds are not planted in a specific place and you're trying to water something that's not ready to grow. And my intuition immediately resonated with that message, and I instinctively sent my letter of resignation, and that was how I started my entrepreneur journey. So you may have an example of this. So the next time that you have a big decision or you need to make a choice, I want you to slow down, reflect, and ask yourself, is this my logical mind speaking to me or is my intuition? And a lot of times you're going to feel so much better when you go with your intuitive choice. Next trait is being open to receiving, aka receptivity. And this is essentially saying that you are open to life's choices and opportunities. And that is a really big way to look at it, but it also can be small ways of just you're open to receiving. You're open to allowing people to give you something, and you're open to what the world has to offer. Now, the one key thing here is that it requires active listening. So ladies, if you are constantly chatting, chat, then you're not open to receiving, right? It requires active listening, as I said before. It requires active listening, and it also requires an openness to new experiences, right? An openness to other things that you may have never even experienced in your life, you have never seen in your life, but you're open to it because you are open to what life is going to offer to you. And what I love about this is once you tap into this, you're going to get so many unexpected opportunities, and you're going to just grow leaps and bounds, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's at work, whether it's in a business. It really just changes the dynamic of how you see how life is coming to you. And one thing I want you to practice with this is if someone says a simple thank you, a lot of times people deflect it and they don't really accept the thank you, right? So next time someone says thank you, just simply say, oh, thank you, I really appreciate it. One way I want you to practice this is if someone gives you a compliment, right? So instead of deflecting the compliment, because we are very always keen to do this, what I want you to do is just say thank you. Right? It's very simple, and it just starts to create that muscle of open to receiving and open to receiving all the goodness that's flowing to you. The next feminine trait is nurturing. And I want to talk about this because I think a lot of people do a really good job of nurturing others, and that is key, right? I do think it's so helpful for you to heal others through your word, through your power, through your being, and nurture those around you and help them on their journey. But the key thing here is you can't nurture anyone if you are pouring from an You can't nurture anyone if you are pouring from an empty cup. So the key thing about nurturing and tapping into this feminine energy trait is tapping into self-care, right? And self-care is not about a spa day, right? It is not about the skincare like I'm doing right now. It is sometimes about taking rest. It's sometimes listening to your body. It's sometimes doing things at a slower pace, right? And really just nurturing what your body needs at that moment and not always going with what everyone else is telling you what to do. And I think it's also about knowing what does self-care look like for you and figuring that out and not allowing social media or all the chatter to tell you what does self-care look like. So how you put this into practice is figure out one way you can start to nurture yourself and implement that today. The next feminine trait is creativity, bringing out your full expression and what it looks like in the world. Creativity is not always about art. It's about problem solving, communicating, and it's really just figuring out how to tap into that left side of your brain that I think a lot of us ignore. So many of us are dealing with logical, we're doing work, we're just moving, people are hustlers, right? And we're not really going into our creative flow. And so one of the ways you can start to practice this is dancing, right? Or it could be writing, it could be flower arranging. I've been seeing so many women on Instagram now really getting to the flower arranging bag. But just figure out, what does creative expression look like to you? And I want you to start to implement that this week. The next feminine energy trait is emotional intelligence. It's understanding other emotions, and it's also about emotion regulation. And ladies, this is so key, especially with us women that we know we can be quite emotional. I'm a Cancer, I know, right? Sometimes I get in my mood and sometimes my husband be looking at me like I'm crazy. So emotional intelligence is about understanding your emotions, understanding when you get hot, when you get cold. And it's also about, I feel what this looks like in full feminine form is that even if you're upset about something, you're frustrated about something, you know that that is not the right time to make a decision when your emotions are on a high, right? And you know when you need to slow down, reflect, and then make a decision. That is when you're fully tapping into that femininity of emotional intelligence. And it's also about reading the room. Right? When you are chatting and getting to know somebody or you're talking to someone, read their body language, not just what they're saying, right? Read the temperament of their emotions, understanding empathy, right? Sometimes, even when you are frustrated with someone, you have to understand where they're coming from, right? And taking that extra minute to tap into their shoes and understand where their emotions are coming from. And then you're fully going to be an emotionally intelligent person. Next feminine trait is flexibility. And you know, I get a lot of compliments about being flexible. It's probably the number one thing that I consistently was told on my performance reviews when I was working a 9 to 5. And it's simply just understanding life's twists and turns. I feel like a lot of times we are stubborn and sometimes we don't like change. But ladies, life is literally like this, right? If we were to look at a life chart, it's never linear, right? Sometimes we have to go backwards to learn a lesson. Sometimes we're going forward. Sometimes we're going up. Sometimes we're going down. We are all over the place, right? And flexibility is understanding that and having that knowing. And even when everything around you feels like this, you are just this still, calm woman, just navigating through that all. So I want you to reflect on, are you flexible? And really answer that question. And if you're not, I want you to work through what is making you not flexible. Why are you unable to embrace change? And I'm sure when you start to implement that, life is just gonna be a whole different ballgame. Last thing is sensuality, right? This is truly understanding life's pleasures through the senses, right? So we have multiple senses. We have taste, we have smell, we can hear, we can see, right? And it's about tapping into all the sensuality. I think a lot of times when people hear that word, they think sexual, when that is far from it. So you can tap into sensuality in a couple of ways. Number one, I think when you take time to eat dinner, really savor the food, all the flavors. And I think it's really good to actually be able to go to a restaurant and you're able to read the different flavors and you know what is the right food. I know for me, this is why people love when I pick dinner because I'm really good at understanding the flavors and really just taking in all of that and just enjoying the life pleasure of really good food, right? It can be touch. So when's the last time you've worn a silk nightie, right? Even a silk pillowcase, just something that's soft to the touch, right? That is a sensual element. It could be dancing, right? So you're getting into your body, you're moving, right? You're going with the flow. You're not only going through your body and experiencing sensuality from that point of view, but also you're hearing music, right? And that is another sense that you are tapping into. So these are the different ways that you can tap into this feminine energy trait. And ladies, if you are loving feminine energy and you're like, I'm ready to go full into feminine energy education, make sure to listen to one of my videos, 5 ways to tap into your feminine energy today. And you're going to be able to see it right here on the screen. As we wrap up, ladies, I want you to understand that these 7 feminine energy traits are already within you. It's really just about understanding how they unfold and how they manifest specifically for you as a feminine soft woman. Honoring your intuition, nurturing yourself, tapping into your sensuality, being open to receiving, and so many of these other feminine energy traits, you're truly embracing all of life's goodness and what is coming towards you. And you are truly embodying what it is to be a feminine woman. If this exploration of feminine energy resonated with you, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to this channel because we got way more feminine energy tips going to you. I also created another video about how to tap into your dark feminine energy, so you can watch this video after this one, and I'm going to see you next week. If you're really enjoying feminine energy education, I have another video up here about how to tap into your dark feminine energy. That is a whole different side of feminine energy that is just going to really fire you up. And I want you to write in the comments, what feminine energy trait are you most excited to develop? All right, ladies, I'll see you next week.